it would be an oligarchy. Now, what is an oligarchy? Oligarchy is a form of government where instead of one king, there is a group which rules together. Now, you know that in Afghanistan, for a lot period of their history, there was a common brotherhood called Biradar. Have you heard about it? And according to which they used to rule the country. So oligarchy is instead of a single monarch or a single king or queen, there is a group of people who rule together. Do you understand that? What is constitution? So let's start from that very question. What is a constitution? Now look here. When you play a game, do you make some basic rules? And there could be other rules as well, but there are some non-negotiable rules according to which the game is played. Suppose you want to govern a country. Do you require such basic rules upon which there is a general agreement between people? Otherwise, if we do not have some basic rules in place, can you say that there will be lawlessness everywhere and there will be social chaos? There will be complete disorder in the society. So in order to ensure that the society functions properly, all societies, they develop such basic rules. And such basic rules are what are contained in the constitution. So look here, now I'm trying to put some technical tinge to what I have already said. Constitution is the basic or fundamental law of the land. You know that in a country there are several laws, right? Like we have tax laws, we have marriage laws, we have different types of laws. So constitution is the basic or fundamental law. It means it is at the base of all such laws, or it is the fundamental block upon which everything else is built upon. Do you understand that? So constitution is what? It is the basic or fundamental law. It is basic or fundamental law of the land, according to which the country is governed, or according to which the country is ruled. Do you understand that? Now, look here. In other words, the constitution is the basic law which provides the framework for governance of the country. It means it is the constitution which provides the structure of governance in the country, or it is the constitution which ensures how the country will be ruled. You understand that? And everything else can be built upon it. And there could be numerous laws according to which the country could be ruled. But which is the basic law according to which the country will be ruled? It is the constitution. So I'm now defining constitution. Look here very carefully. Constitution is the basic or fundamental law of the land according to which a country is governed, or according to which a country is ruled. Or in other words, it provides the basic framework for governance. Now look here. ये जो बात हम कह रहे हैं that it provides the basic framework for governance or according to which country is governed, these are vague expressions, right? They are not giving you a very clear-cut meaning. What actually this means? This means that it is the constitution or the basic fundamental law which will provide for the following. And what are they? First, the nature of state. And see, in the class from today onwards, in the polity class, whenever I will use the word state, it would mean actually nation state. Clear? So state would highlight what? Nation state. And if I have to refer to states, then I will use the word states, or I will say union and state. Do you understand that? So whenever I use the word state, it means what? Nation state means the country. Do you understand that? So it tells us, it is the constitution which tells us that what will be the nature of our country, or what will be the nature of our nation state. In other words, whether the country would be a monarchy. Do you understand what is a monarchy? Where there is a king or a queen, a monarch. Do you understand that? Whether it would be an oligarchy. Now what is an oligarchy? Oligarchy is a form of government where instead of one king, there is a group which rules together. Now you know that in Afghanistan, for a lot period of their history, there was a common brotherhood called Biradar. Have you heard about it? And according to which they used to rule the country. So oligarchy is instead of a single monarch or a single king or queen, there is a group of people who rule together. Do you understand that? Or whether the country would be a dictatorship. What is a dictatorship? In which there is one supreme ruler who enjoys all the privileges, all the rights, and he rules the country at his whims and fancies. What do you mean by whims and fancies? जैसा उसके मन में आता है वैसा. Do you understand that? Whatever, the way he wishes, he rules the country in that way. And often in an oppressive manner and cruel manner. Do you understand that? Now, there have been so many dictators in the world. Like say, for example, Stalin was a dictator. Hitler was a dictator. Even, you see, to some extent, Kim Jong-un of North Korea today could be considered as a dictator. Do you understand that? So it is the constitution which tells us that whether the country would be a monarchy, whether it will be an oligarchy, or whether it will be a dictatorship, or it will be a democracy. Democracy means rule of the people. It means people will rule the country in a way they desire. Do you understand that? Democracy means the supreme power of governance is in the hands of the people. Do you understand that? Dictatorship in the hands of one man. Do you understand that? Sometimes you see, sometimes the monarch can also be a dictator. Do you understand that? Even the oligarchy can become a dictator. Do you understand that? So what is monarchy? Monarchy means there is a king or a queen or someone from the royal family who rules the country as per his whims and fancies. Do you understand that? There is also a chance that a monarch could be a good monarch. There are so many examples of good rulers. But you see, good rulers are very few in history, or we have large number of good rulers. Very few good rulers. Most of the rulers have misused or abused their power. That's why you see, as human civilization progressed, now the faith is more in democracy rather than in monarchy. Oligarchy means a group of people ruling together. Do you understand that? They could be, say, for example, the members of a particular clan or members of a particular royal family or members sharing a common blood. Do you understand that? Dictatorship means one person who is ruling the country at his whims and fancies. He enjoys all the rights and privileges. Think of Kim Jong-un. Can he do whatever he wishes? He can. But does he allow the people to do whatever they wish? No. So dictators, what they do is generally they concentrate all the privileges and rights to themselves. And they do not extend such privileges and rights to the people. Do you understand that? And they rule the country in an oppressive or in a cruel manner. And then comes democracy. Do you understand that? Democracy means what? It is the rule of the people. And you see, have you heard the term republic? Republic means what? The highest office of the land is open for all. You understand that? And the highest office of the land, how to enter that office? By way of election, direct or indirect. So India is a democracy, yes or no? Is it also a republic? Yes. And if you look at the preamble, can you see that it says that India would be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So it is the constitution which tells us how the nature of the state would be. Agreed on that fact? Yes? Give me a yes. Yes? Okay. Now, the second thing that the constitution tells is that how would be the form of government. Now, what do we mean?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go on there.
Sir, what is the major difference between a monarch and a despot?
Okay. A monarch is, see, a monarch has to be someone who is from the royal family. If you do not share the royal blood, you cannot become a monarch. Do you understand that? It means you have to be a king, queen, prince or princess. Then only you can become a monarch. And sometimes a monarch can also become harsh. But when it comes to a despot, it is not necessary that you have to have a royal blood. Like say, for example, Hitler did not have any royal blood, nor did Stalin, nor did Mao Zedong, or think about Kim Jong-un. None of them share royal blood, but they have all ruled their lands in a despotic manner. Despot means a person who is having a dictatorial attitude towards the people, who crushes the civil liberties of the people. I hope you got that. Anyhow, so look here. Yes. There are so many examples of oligarchy in India also. Remember that there was a Lichavi kingdom. Remember Mahajanpad? It was also oligarchy to some times. Then after that, it graduated to republic. You understand that? And there are so many of such examples throughout Europe and Asia, right? So look here. So do you understand? It tells us the nature of the state. Second, it tells us the form of the government. Now, government generally has two major forms. One is a federal government and the other one is a unitary government. Now, what is a unitary government? A unitary government is one in which there is only one government, which is known as the national government. Like in United Kingdom, they have only one government, which is known as the national government. Do you understand that? And in federal arrangement, there are two governments, government at the center, which is known as the union government, and government of the units, which is known as the state government. Do you understand that? Now you tell me, is India a federal arrangement or a unitary arrangement? We have a federal arrangement. But at times you can understand that there could be some constitutions which create a mixture of both. Is it possible? Like say for example, think of India. India is federal in normal times. But when it becomes an emergent situation or emergency is imposed, then India becomes a unitary government. Unitary government means there is only one government. Now, look here. In Britain also there would be subdivisions of government. Like say for example, there could be a government of Manchester, there could be a government of Liverpool and all of that. But look here, all these governments are drawing their powers from the central government. So these are not powers divided by the constitution. Like in India, if you look at the 7th schedule, you will see that subjects of governance have been divided into union list, state list, concurrent lists, right? But in non-federal arrangements, there will be no such lists. Do you understand that? It means the central government gives some powers to local governments and can withdraw such powers anytime it desires. But can the government of India take all the powers away from all the state governments? No. At times, if there is an emergency situation, that can be done by imposition of president's rule. So India is what kind of a state? What kind of a state? It is a democratic state, republic state. And what kind of government it has? Mixed kind. But it is more federal than unitary. Because for most of the times it remains federal. देखो फर्क क्या है federalism और unitary government में? Federalism means two governments and division of powers. What kind of powers? Legislative powers, administrative powers, all kinds of powers, right? Whereas unitary government means there is only one government and that government is known as what? The national government, like you have in United Kingdom or UK, right? There is only one government, that is the government of Britain. Do you get that? Then it is the constitution which also provides for the various organs of the government. Now what do I mean by that? The various organs of the government. The executive, the legislature and the judiciary. They are the three major organs of the government. So they are what? Executive, legislature and judiciary. Now look here. When we use the term government, like suppose in your day-to-day life you say that the government is doing very well or you say the government is not doing very well, you are actually highlighting towards which organ? Executive, legislature or judiciary? Executive. Do you understand that? Executive consists of what? President, vice president, central council of ministers, prime minister. They all become the part of the union executive. Similarly, there could be state executive. Do you understand that? What is legislature? Legislature comprises of all the members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. It means the lawmakers. Do you understand that? They are the legislators. They combinedly form what? The legislature. And then comes the judiciary. Judiciary at the union level is the Supreme Court of India. Do you understand that? Now look here, that what is the task of the legislature? The task of the legislature is to make the laws. Yes or no? Yes. What is the task of the executive? नाम से ही पता चल रहा है. To execute the laws or to administer those laws. See, executive का काम क्या है? Its work is to execute the laws made by the legislature. Can the council of ministers or the cabinet sit together and make a law of their own? No, they cannot. And you see, the administration, which is also a part of the executive. Executive has two parts, permanent and political. Political executive are the ministers. Permanent executive is the bureaucrats. Do you understand that? Now you tell me, can an IPS officer take any action, whatever he feels so? Or his action should be as per law? It means that all executive actions should have legal backing, or all executive actions should be backed by appropriate laws. Like say for example, if GST is taken from you, but there is no such law of GST, can you go to the court and say that the executive is doing wrong with me, because all the executive actions should be backed by what? Legal justification or a law. Do you understand that? And what is the job of the judiciary? The job of the judiciary is to, first is to test the laws. Test the laws. It means to see that whether the laws are in tune with the constitution or not. Do you get that? Like say for example, if a law is made and there is some dissatisfaction with the law, then the people go and take the law to the Supreme Court, where it is decided that whether the law is in tune with the constitution or not. Do you get that? That's the first job of judiciary. Second job of judiciary is to give justice. And this justice is given as per the whims and fancies of the judges or as per laws. Do you understand that? That's why you see everything that happens in the country is as per law. Do you get that? That's why in the country we have rule of law. Do you get that? So look here. It is the organs of the government. These organs of the government are given where? In the constitution. Do you understand that? And you see that when we say the government is not doing very well, we generally refer to which part? The Supreme Court, the Parliament, or the Council of Ministers? Council of Ministers. Do you understand that? So in day-to-day language or in day-to-day say parlance, when we use the word government, we are actually highlighting what? The executive. But technically, government means three things. And what are they? Executive, legislature, and judicial. Combinedly, they are known as government. Do you understand that? But ऐसे ही हम क्या बोल देते हैं? Government मतलब executive. But technically, government means all the three organs, right? What is the job of the legislature? To make laws. Executive, execute those laws. Judiciary, test the laws and give justice in the light of the laws. Do you understand that? So it is the constitution which provides all of this. Now you tell me, all these organs of the government, their powers are defined where? In the constitution. The limitations on their powers are also defined in the constitution. Like say for example, can the Supreme Court sit together and make a law? All the judges. Can the parliament give justice? Do you understand that? So their powers are defined in the constitution. Their privileges are defined in the constitution. Their rights are defined in the constitution. Their limitations are also defined in the constitution. Their functions are defined in the constitution. Their roles are defined in the constitution. It means everything related to them, anything is defined where? In the constitution. The constitution also regulates their relationship with each other. Like say for example, if a law is to be made in the parliament, you know, at times a minister introduces a bill. Have you seen that? Minister introduces a bill. Minister is part of what? He is part of executive. So you see the actual lawmaking process, or that we want to bring a bill, it starts from where? It starts from the brain of the executive, isn't it? But then he goes into the legislature. But the minister, when he sits into the parliament, does he behave like a minister or like any other member of the parliament? Like any other. ऐसा होता है क्या कि minister का vote is equals to 10 times the votes of other members? No. Every person carrying the same weightage of vote in the parliament. It means how the different organs will interact with each other. It is given where? In the constitution. Like say for example, if the laws are made by the legislature, such laws will be tested by whom? By the judiciary, because judiciary is the guardian of the constitution, right? It is the Supreme Court which will see that whether these laws are in tune with the constitution or it is going against the constitution. Suppose if the parliament makes a law and in that law it takes away all the fundamental rights that we are enjoying, what do you think? What will Supreme Court do? Supreme Court will declare that such a law is null and void. It means it has no value. Do you understand that? Because it is violating the constitution. Do you get that? So look here very carefully, that how the judiciary will interact with the legislature, how the executive will interact with the legislature, how the executive will interact with the judiciary. All of this is given where? In the constitution. Not only how they will interact with each other, but also how they will interact with the people. Like say for example, it is the people who vote, and according to such votes, people go into the parliament. So this is people's interaction with the legislature. Similarly, you see that all the schemes that are made by the executive, like say Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Ujjwala Yojana, all those kind of schemes, these schemes are actually, who are the beneficiary? The people. Do you understand that? Similarly, you see that when people feel that they need justice, they can go and file a PIL in the Supreme Court, public interest litigation, or they can file a writ petition, whatever. Do you understand that? Don't get traumatized by these words as of now. We'll learn all of it. But what I'm saying is, when you need justice, where do you go? To the courts. Do you understand that? To the lower courts and even to the Supreme Court by way of appeal. In some cases, you can directly go to the Supreme Court. For example, if it is fundamental rights in question, because right to constitutional remedy gives you that right. Clear? Don't worry about these rights. We'll learn all of that. But यहाँ तक बात समझ में आई that it is the constitution which defines the powers of all these organs. It is the constitution which defines their role, their functions, the limitations on their authority, how they will interact with each other, and how they will interact with the people at large. Do you understand that? Apart from this, the constitution also tells that what kind of civil liberties the people will enjoy. Now, what do you mean by civil liberties? Civil liberty. Liberty means what? Liberty means freedom. So these are those basic freedoms which are necessary for civilized existence. Without this freedom, your life will be like an animal's life. Do you understand that? So you require these freedom. Like say for example, right to life, right to speech and expression. Do you understand that? So these are some basic freedoms that you would require in order to live a civilized life. So now I am repeating what I have already said till now. Look here. What is constitution? Constitution is the basic fundamental law according to which the country is governed. Do you understand that? It is constitution which provides the basic framework for governance. It is constitution which provides for what will be the nature of the state, whether it would be a monarchy, whether it would be an oligarchy, dictatorship or democracy. It is the constitution which provides for the form of government, whether it would be federal, unitary or mixed form of government. It is the constitution which provides for the various organs of the government. Government means three organs: executive, legislature and judiciary. But generally when we say government, we refer to executive. Do you understand that? And you know that whenever I will use the word state, it means what? Nation state. Do you understand that? So what is the job of the legislature? To make laws. Job of executive? Execute such laws. Job of judiciary? Test the laws and to give justice in the light of the laws. It is the constitution which tells us what powers, what privileges, what functions, what roles these bodies will be performing, how they will interact with each other, and how there will be interaction between them and the people at large. Like say for example, if suppose a Supreme Court judge has misbehaved or he does not have the capacity to sit in Supreme Court, then can he be removed? Yes, by the process of impeachment. But that process takes place where? In the Parliament. It does not take place in the Supreme Court. Similarly, you see, when the judges are appointed, they are appointed by whom? President. And President is part of judiciary or executive? Executive. So see how they are interacting with each other. Do you understand that? And where all these things are mentioned? In the Constitution of India. Apart from this, the Constitution also tells us that what kind of liberties or freedom, basic freedom that people would be enjoying. If you look at the Indian Constitution, part 3 of the Indian Constitution, which is the part on fundamental rights, talks about such civil liberties which the people would be enjoying. Do you understand that? Now you tell me one thing. Is the Constitution a static thing? It remains the way it was for all times, or does it grows with time? It grows with time. Why? By way of subsequent amendments, new articles are added. Do you understand that? New parts are added, new schedules are added, all those kind of things are added. So, like an organism, you see, a constitution also moves through different stages. Like an organism, first is in the young stage, then it is in the mature stage, then it is in the old stage. Or you can say once it is in the juvenile stage, then it is in the mature stage, then it is in the senile stage, or young, mature and old. That's why you see that constitutions are also known as organic laws. Why organic laws? Because they grow with time. And how do they grow with time? Because of subsequent amendments which are made to them. New articles, new provisions, new schedules that are added to them. But also how judiciary interprets them. Like say for example, we have one fundamental right which is in Article 21, which is right to life and liberty. But Supreme Court found out a new right within that right, which is right to privacy. It is said that right to privacy is necessary for maintaining right to life. Do you understand that? So with judicial interpretations of the different articles, can you understand that the bulk of the constitution is increasing? So the constitution is also known as the organic law. Do you understand this now? So whenever the term organic law will be used anywhere, it means which law? The fundamental law, the basic law. It means the constitution of the country. Do you get it? Also, keep this thing in mind that from where the constitution is deriving its power. Who is giving power to the constitution? People. Because if you look at the preamble, it says what? We the people of India. And the last line says, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. It means the law, the basic fundamental law is deriving its authority or power from where? From the people. But when you look at other laws, think of GST, income tax law or any other law, they are deriving their power from where? From the parliament. Do you understand that? Now look here, that's why the constitution is, or constitution enjoys special legal sanctity. Special legal sanctity means it is deriving its power directly from the people, whereas ordinary laws, this is the fundamental law, it is an extraordinary law, right? And the ordinary laws which are made where? In the parliament, in the legislature, they derive legal sanctity or they enjoy legal sanctity. It means they are deriving their power from the parliament, but the constitution is deriving its power from the people directly. Do you understand that? So that's why constitution enjoys what? Special legal sanctity, whereas ordinary laws enjoy what? Legal sanctity. Now I am making a statement and you tell me whether that makes sense to you or not. This is the definition that you will find in most of the books, and this is how the books start. Constitution is the basic fundamental organic law of the land which enjoys special legal sanctity. Can you understand this now? Special legal sanctity, which provides the framework for governance in the country. It tells us about the nature of the state, the form of government, the organs of the government, and the civil liberties which are enjoyed by the people.